All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Good Worthy Reactions. But today, like the last time, this is not a reaction, but we're gonna get some reactions. We got a special guest today, man. My boy Finn Bell from Love Ghost. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great today, man. I'm blessed. I woke up today. Every day that I wake up, man, that's another
Amen.
blessing. Doing really got some exciting stuff on the horizon. It's a good day today. So I'm happy. I'm grateful.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to hear that, man. Thank God, thank God. Yes, well, we woke up today, man. We can't. Sometimes the day ain't going the way we want it to go. Sometimes our careers aren't taking off the way we want them to take off at the speed we would like to. But we gotta just sometimes we just gotta slow down and embrace it. I did an interview recently with Adam, and his word of advice was to other artists, on the rise, growing like yourself, right? You guys. He said, stop, stop and just take it in, enjoy it at every landmark. Every time you get to a certain point, higher than when you were a month ago, stop and enjoy it, embrace it.
That's really important. That's really crucial. And I think a lot of and I'm guilty of that myself at times. Sometimes
Mhm.
I get so wrapped up in things that don't really matter sometimes I'm thinking about like, oh, if a show went bad, or maybe a
Mm.
song isn't performing that way, and just to really kind of take a step, enjoy what's going on around, and kind of just like look around. And I have to tell myself, I have to remind myself, like, hey, there's a lot of people that are really talented and want to do music, but they're in a position where they can't make music right now. They're in a position where they can't play
Right.
shows right now.
Exactly.
And so I kind of have to tell myself, no, keep on going, keep on pushing forward. This is a gift. This is a blessing.
A
You know,
blessing.
you can do this.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. And I think even though I've actually learned about your music through the Skinner brothers.
Hmm.
So yeah, Zach reached out to me on Instagram one day. I think we were following each other, but he had reached out to me one day and just he was just showing love about the channel and stuff like that. I think he saw either a reaction that I did to like Ren or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but that turned into us having somewhat of a relationship, and I started reacting to his music as well. And now he's got this whole EP going on with him and with Ren, and that's a big move. That's a really good look for him, and I'm really happy that they're doing that because when I heard his music originally, I was just and then the collab that you guys did as well, um, it kind of made me feel like what's it gonna take for guys like this to get a really good look? Like you guys are doing good. Like you got obviously you guys can tour, you guys are getting calls. Like I understand that, but what's it gonna take for indie artists to catapult? You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's gonna take the community of independent creators to come together. That's what it's gonna take.
100%, 100%. I would agree completely. Like, that community is crucial, right? It takes all these people, people like yourself and different YouTube channel, different reactions, to kind of boost these indie artists out that are, some of them are really just under a rock, but once that rock gets turned
Turns.
over, and it's huge. And shout out Ren for this whole EP with Zach is huge, and it's so great. I'm super happy for him, and it's I would agree 100%. It's about the community that your art creates, that your art fosters, and
Right.
having a community is crucial. It's huge.
Yeah. So we just gotta do the all we can. You know what I mean? We gotta do all we can. Um, I'm probably gonna reference a lot of Adam's interview that I did recently, just because he gave so much advice, and he gave so much game. But I was telling him, hey man, I appreciate the look of even allowing me to be here on tour with you, opening up, and at the same time having this interview, like having spending this hour plus with me. And he was like, to him it was like a no brainer. He just looked at me like, what the hell? He said, you helped me, like I gotta help you. Like we gotta do all we can for each other. Those are his words, and I was just like, man, that's a stand up dude right there. I just feel like if we can all follow that lead, right? Because what he said was pretty much when you're on this, when you're on this like mission to just achieve these goals and just like you guys are touring, you're going global. You know what I'm saying? If we're just being quite honest, that's a beautiful thing. And he said he never stopped. He never stopped to just embrace it and love it and enjoy it. He never did that. So, and he's a 45-year-old man now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He doesn't look 45, but he's a 45-year-old man. He's like he's seen a lot. He's been through a lot. You know, for the past 10 years, he's just been crushing it on the independent label. But he's never
Absolutely.
stopped to enjoy it, you know? And it's like somebody like yourself or the Skinner brothers, I hope you guys are enjoying it, you know. I hope you're like taking it in.
That's huge. That's crucial. I mean, I'm definitely guilty of that at times, of not, taking a step back and just enjoying the here and now, because I'm kind of just like, I consider myself also to be on a mission to accomplish
Right.
these goals of mine, to accomplish these dreams of mine. And all I'm just thinking of is, okay, like what's the next step? What's the next thing? What can I do that's better? What's the next song that I write that, is
Right,
going to
right.
reach more people? And, it kind of like, if you're not practicing that gratitude, then you're practicing a form of misery, and you're practicing a form of suffering subconsciously, even if maybe you're not fully aware of that.
Right.
So like, I have to constantly remind myself when I'm having a bad day, or if I'm having a bad show or something isn't working out. I have to remind myself, like, hey, no, this is what you want to do. You got to push through this. Overall, this is still a blessing. This is still a good thing. It's kind of like, it's almost like being a doctor, and like you've saved like 99 people, and then you mess up on one operation, and that person loses their life. Like, you could quit after that, or you could say, hey, wait, there's 1,000 other people that also need saving. Not every single circumstance is always in our control, and that's one thing that I have
Right,
to
right,
remind
right.
myself a lot too. It's not There's a lot of circumstances that are outside of our control.
That's well said, man. Well said. Absolutely. Love the analogy, and yeah, that's and I think we all can relate to that, even if you're not, even if you're not a per se a creator of music or whatever the case may be. There's just different facets of life that we can all communicate together, and I think that's why the community is so important, because we have the community of creators like yourself, people who do reactions or whatever, and then the community itself, the people who are actually pushing, promoting, and keeping this thing alive, right? It's because it's in their hands, the fans, the
Yep.
people who are buying tickets, watching videos, clicking the hype button or whatever the new thing YouTube's doing. They're on it. They know it before we know it. I don't even know what the hype button means, but I see people saying, "Hey, I hit the hype button." I'm just like, okay, I don't even know what that is, but
I know what it is either, but I keep on seeing
it's,
people bring it up also. I think it's hilarious. Like, thanks for the hype button.
yeah, exactly.
We need a hype button in real life at the
Yo, for real.
boom, boom, boom.
Exactly.
Press that hype button.
Hey, that's genius right there.
Yeah.
You might have to do that your next show.
Right, exactly.
But what I was gonna say, yeah. So them too. So when I say relatable, I mean even they can relate to the music, because most of them are not creators of music, right? But
Mhm.
why do they relate so much? It's because you're delivering your message in a type of way where they're able to connect. I mean, that's a skill. It's a skill to make music, but then it's a skill to make people connect. That's another skill.
Absolutely, yeah. Music, I think, is, in my opinion, it's one of, if not the most popular things in the world. And the reason why is because it connects so deeply to all of us. It
Right,
connects to our souls. Like, there's reasons why, like infants, when they hear a sound, they start like bopping their head and like
right, right,
moving
right.
along to it. It definitely, like, I think there's a part of music that is so intuitive and so, um, you can't even describe it. It's
Right.
indescribable. It's just, it
Very
touches all of
natural
us
thing
on a
too.
deep, soulful level, and that's huge. Being able to kind of to tap into that power, that whether that's an ancestral power or whatever that may be, there's something inside of us all that that you can access it. Yeah, it's
Right.
great. Yeah.
That's well put, man. Well put. You described that pretty good. Yeah. I'm not even going to add to that. That's well said. Uh,
Thanks.
it's in you. You know what I mean? It's in you. That's pretty much what I got from what you just said. It's definitely in
Yeah.
you, and it's in all of us.
Yeah, it's in all of us. It's just that journey about discovering what that exact thing is inside of you. That's the hard part. The journey of
Right.
discovering how to use it. Yeah.
Right. So we spoke about my entry to your music was you working with the Skinner brothers, and that was a gateway for me, right? So, but I want to start with something you've rarely been asked, because I've saw some of your interviews, and I've watched just videos of you just talking, just so
Mhm.
that I can get a grasp on who I'm dealing with, so that my line of questioning is more tailored to who you are. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Absolutely.
I want to say when you were assembling the identity of Love Ghost, right?
Yeah.
Was there a moment of like personal pain or disruption, maybe in your upbringing, or just a rough starting period per se, that you realize, okay, this is going to be my art? And if so, how did that moment, I guess, translate into your earlier songs, dating back to your, your beginning stages?
Absolutely. Yeah, there was a specific moment, and I don't think I've ever talked about this in another interview before, so it's pretty being pretty vulnerable opening up. But yeah, when I was about 13 years old, I was going through a lot of things at home, and I was actually like I would you could consider me a troubled youth, and I got kicked out of school. I would get kicked
Mm,
out of school a lot, and I had to go to alternative schooling for kind of like troubled kids. Like so, I was like,
okay.
sometimes there was like pregnant teens there, sometimes there was like kids that were abused at home, sometimes there was things of that nature. And so when I was 13 years old, and I got kicked out of school and I'm going to alternative schooling. I had this sense of rejection from systems, from institutions. And
Mm,
that's kind of really when I started this Love Ghost project. As I started it when I was really young, when I was around that age. And I wanted to give a voice to other people that also felt rejected from an institution, from a
mm,
system that felt like they didn't fit into that mold. And to me, that's kind of like a crucial thing that's really important about the lyrics that I write, is writing from that, that misunderstood 13-year-old that just got kicked out of school and is told by everyone, hey, like you're a loser, you're not going to be able to do this. And kind of how do you
wow.
find that strength within that, like I can do this. I
Right.
can. It doesn't matter if you guys don't accept me, if you guys don't know who don't understand what I'm about. I'm still gonna make my own path. And that
Yeah.
was
There you go.
kind of really the basis of Love Go starting.
Oh, interesting, man. That's so. A lot when I was reading up on you, I didn't really see that. And
Yeah.
I was on Reddit, I was everywhere trying to get the most information about, your upbringing. So I'm glad to have known that. And I appreciate you being vulnerable right now with us and just really opening up and sharing something that you haven't shared before. I feel honored that you felt, that you could share that. Um,
Of course, man, and
mhm.
I hope it helps other people that are maybe going through something similar.
And that's the mission right there.
Right, that's the mission. That's the goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate that, and appreciate that answer. You've talked about finding you in other areas. You talked about finding where the love is, right? So, for example,
Uh,
you mentioned Mexico driving a lot of traction for you. You mentioned this in other interviews, right? When you lean into a new region or fan base like that, how much of your music or how much of your mindset shifts, and like if so, how much stays locked into your original inner world? Because you're tapping into new fields, right? It might be surprising that these people are connecting to your music at first, and it's
right?
like, do I go there and adapt, or do I go there and just be me because this is who they fell in love with anyways? Like, how do you decipher that?
Absolutely, that's huge. And I think that I usually try to keep it a good 50-50 split, because
Okay.
I try to keep my core identity in the music that I write, and I try to keep that use that word inner world. I love that
Yeah.
expression. That's a dope expression. I try to keep that Love Ghost world intact and visible at all
Yeah.
times, or
Yeah. Yeah.
lose sight of that. But there's also, like for instance with the Mexico thing, like I'll start making posts in Spanish. I'll start like I'm learning Spanish right now.
I
Actually,
love it.
right?
You be
Yeah.
talking Spanish on stage. I was like, look at this guy talking Spanish. It came out, como sientes? I was like, what? What is
Yep,
happening?
yep, exactly. So,
I
little
love
things
it,
like
man.
that, just throwing the love back. Or I just released a song, actually, my first ever song in Spanish,
Get
where
out of
yeah,
here.
a few weeks ago. So,
Nice.
I'm trying to show love to the culture, to the fans, to the community, because that's the most important thing, right? Is the fans, is the community. So, in any way that I can show love back to them, I always do. But I also try to say, you know
Nice.
what? No, like the reason why Love Ghost works in the way that it does is because of kind of like what we were talking about before, that that misunderstood kid that relates to those songs. And so I had to really kind of always keep
It always
track
goes
of that
back. It
inner
always goes
world
back
as well.
to
Yep,
that young kid, huh? With
absolutely.
you. with your
Absolutely.
music. It looks like it always like you always think back, and I guess that keeps you grounded.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely keeps me grounded. Keeps me yeah, 100%.
That's awesome, man. So I guess that's interesting because I asked that question, and some a part of that answer could be there could have been a selfish answer, right? And it could have just been, "Nah, I just do my thing. You know, that's what they love. That's what I give them." Now that might sound like someone who is appreciative of the new region of a fan base that's following them and supporting them. That might sound like somebody who's just saying, "No, this is what they love, and I'm giving them what they love." But you actually flipped it, and you said 50-50. And I love that you said that. I love that that was your answer because you're going to give them what they love, but also you're here to show an appreciation for them and their culture and their world. And you want to you want to enter their inner world because they love you like that. So they
Exactly.
want you're a part of they're a part of yours, but they want you to be a part of theirs as well. And for you to recognize that is a pretty seasoned mentality of a young artist like yourself. That's a pretty seasoned move. That's somebody who's got a lot of wisdom or maybe just a lot of experience. But like you told us from early on, from 13 to where you are at now, obviously you've been through a lot, and that's those kind of things tailor a new character and just that's amazing though, man. That's amazing. That I'm glad you said. I was really curious to how you was going to answer that, and I'm glad you said 50-50 because that's it's just something wrong with saying, nah, just give them love girls. That's what they love. There's nothing wrong with that. But you went further. You know what I'm saying? You went further. You was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna give them what they ask for, what they look for, and what they love. But also, I want them to know like I'm invested in them as well.
Absolutely, 100%. Keeping that versatility, that being adaptable in those ways, and whether that's like learning parts of the language, like embracing
Right.
yourself in the culture. Yeah, man. So like, yeah, thank you. That's what's up. That's kind of always been like my mindset of it. Is it's good to keep your original identity and to not compromise your morals or your beliefs, but also to be adaptable and to say, okay, you know what? These fans maybe everyone's in Mexico. Okay, I'm going to start playing shows in Mexico. I'm going to start talking Spanish on stage. I'm
Right.
going to start, just these little tweaks here and there. I think we can always improve, right? So it's
Right.
good. It's good to keep that in mind.
Yeah. And you know what? I like what you just said because sometimes, like, we don't want to compromise our moral compass, obviously, or what our beliefs may be, right?
Mhm.
But when it comes to music and just this culture that we're in, it's okay to do things differently. You know what I'm saying? It's totally okay. You don't have to be so stern on music. Music is just a creative juicer that you just been a part of. And at the same time, you're so if you're not because you could do things differently proves your skill level actually, right? And your open mindedness when it comes to creating new music. So even though you're going there, even if you didn't make a Spanish song, just going there, speaking Spanish to them, that's absolutely I already know that's gonna make them laugh. It's gonna put a smile on their face. They're gonna be like, hey, okay. They feel
Yeah.
appreciated. Now they feel seen. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty cool that you said that.
Yeah, they always say like "Te amo, güero," like we love you,
Yeah.
right, boy. They always
Yeah, yeah. They got a bunch of names for white boys over there, man.
say.
Gringo, they say a whole bunch of stuff. And it's funny because I hear here in America, like some white folks would think that's like an insult, gringo, right? Because
Mhm.
the Hispanics here, you know, if they feel a certain way towards white people, they might use it it might sound like it's offensive, right? But
Mhm.
really it's not. It's really not though. Like I
Yeah,
got family in DR and that's what my wife is Italian. That's what they would call my wife. They would call her gringo. Like that's just a
yeah,
thing. It's not really it all depends on who's saying it and what's the intention.
absolutely. Yeah, it could be a term of endearment, 100%.
Right.
If you embrace that, and if you kind of don't let it get to you, then it's all
Yeah.
fun. It's all love.
At the
Absolutely.
end of the day, they're pulling up to the show. Clearly, they
Hey,
got an
yeah,
admiration for you.
exactly, 110%.
They didn't pay for a ticket to come say I don't know slurs or whatever. Nobody does that.
Yep,
Like
yep,
maybe some people do, but you know what I'm saying. We know that's not the core of the people who are supporting you.
100%, 100%.
So, brother, we often speak about just us being creators in this field, and whatever facet that may be, whether it's a
Mhm,
reaction channel, whether it's music or whatever the case may be. We speak about our influences like bands or maybe specific projects or albums.
mhm.
You cited, right, and I had to learn about this through you, by the way, Doug. Like grunge, emo, trap, and like industrial music. Like I wanna ask this in a different way. I want to flip it. Like I would say what non-musical art form, right? Whether that be movies, books, paintings, whatever, or even personal conversations you've had.
Mm-hmm.
What non-musical art forms you would say triggered a key shift in how you structure or feel a song, like when you're going to approach it anyways. Tell me about the scene and the effect of it. So the creating and then the aftermath of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would say like one of my first ever loves was movies, was films. Growing up, my father was a film collector, so we
Okay,
just had like
nice.
a bunch of DVDs in the house, and I would just watch like one movie after the next, after the next,
Right,
after the
right.
next. And I'd say like in particular, two movies I think really had a deep impact on me. One was Phantom of the Opera. It's very music related. It's very, and I think that I kind of like parts of my
Classic.
aesthetic are definitely inspired by Phantom of the Opera. Sometimes I feel like Phantom of the Opera. Sometimes I feel deformed underneath the stage doing my thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool,
The
man.
girls with the other guy.
Right, right,
You know,
right,
a
right.
very relatable
Yeah, I was about to say
story
relatable, very relatable.
in my life. So yeah, I'd say that, and then also I'd say Donnie Darko was another movie that I remember watching as a teenager and feeling really, and I really kind of related to that certain portrayal of mental illness and mental struggle and how it can sometimes feel supernatural, and sometimes like on this journey with music at times too. Sometimes for me it feels like somewhat supernatural, and whether that's the mental illness or whether that is something supernatural, whether that is the ghost, the fantasma, as they
Right,
say in
right. Huh?
Espanol. Yeah,
Fantasma. Yeah.
exactamente. See, yeah, that.
Don't make me test you. I know Spanish.
Oh,
I
oh,
turn this whole interview into a Spanish interview.
oh man, oh man. Yeah. But I'd
That's
say like
amazing.
those two films really kind of influenced me, and even just in terms of like imagery, I try to kind of pull from different movies that I love when it comes to writing lyrics in the studio, or maybe different like sounds and feels. Like I'll get inspired by certain soundtracks and movies and stuff like
Right,
that. So I
right.
would say like for those two movies were really inspirational for me in terms of my creative process.
Okay, nice, man. I'm glad that you you actually had a so there's somewhere you went to that actually the I guess what I'm saying, like there's actually you have an actual answer to that. You know what I mean? Because sometimes not everybody, like, either they don't think that deep, or they kind of just they think they're creating these things self-consciously, not knowing that they're actually coming from a place. There's an actual source of influence that a
Mhm.
lot of our intentions come from when we're writing a song. And you brought up the relatability on that, right, with the girl. Like there's heartbreak comes from somewhere even before we experienced it. It's how we know we're identifying with it. Oh, I've seen this before, but now when you experience it, it's a whole different level, obviously. But yeah,
Yup.
you know your source. Like, that's cool. That's cool. I don't even know if I know my source, to be honest with you. I just asked you a question that I don't even know if I can answer. Yeah,
Good. All
it's
good.
interesting, man. It's good, man. So, I mean, I want to go back to the very beginning when we first spoke. You talked about just feeling like institutional systems that just pretty much didn't do their job. You know what I mean? Let's just put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Um, if we go back, right?
Yeah.
And I really did enjoy this interview you had with the young man. Well, not the young man. He's like a little bit of an older guy. You guys were in that room. It was like a brick wall behind him. You're sitting kind of close to each other. I forget his name, but that was a really good interview that you had with him. You know what I'm talking about?
Off the top of my
He,
head,
he
I'm
had the
not.
bla- he had the blazer on. Um,
Oh, Vinyl Rewind, right?
yes, Vinyl
Yeah,
Rewind.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's a guy. Yeah,
yeah,
he's really
I enjoyed that. I watched that. I just watched that interview like 2 days ago. But yeah, I enjoyed that interview, man.
yeah.
But in the interview, you said you described yourself as anxious, insecure, and damaged kid. I know that comes from what we were speaking about earlier when you were 13 and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
and that pretty much through the Love Ghost band, you connected with fans who felt the same. And you've mentioned like that's kind of like your direction. It's what you want. It's what you would hope to do, right?
Absolutely. It was my mission statement.
There you go. And what I want you to do, I want you to take me to a time, behind the music.
Yeah.
Just pick one song of yours that you feel still carries that younger you inside it, inside of the song itself. And tell me which song it is,
Yep.
why, and if you could now talk to that younger version of yourself
Hmm.
while performing it, what would you say to him? Loaded question. Loaded
Yeah.
question.
The deep
But
question.
yeah.
I like that question a lot. It's a powerful question. The song that I would choose is a song that's called "I'll Be Fine," and fine is in parentheses, so it's "I'll Be Fine."
Okay. I
Yeah,
like that. I like that.
that was a song that it was actually the first song of mine that kind of really took off on YouTube too. And it was really I so remember the day that I wrote that. I was in high school. I was at my friend's house. I was in his garage, and just on an acoustic guitar, I started, writing that song and singing those lyrics.
Mm,
And it was really it was about depression, but it was also about that uncertainty of what is beyond. Like, will I
right.
be fine? Will everything work out? I don't know. And as I'm kind of reflecting on this, and I think that that song really just described my mindset that I had
Mhm.
as a kid, as that, like, I wasn't sure if things were going to work out, if I was going to make it through the different traumas that I was going through, and kind of like we talked about, like institutions, like um failing people and stuff like that. Like that's a
Definitely.
real insecurity. Like, you don't and a
Right.
lot of people kind of
Oh yeah. Oh
just
yeah.
don't know about that. So I'd say, yeah, it's definitely that song, "I'll Be Fine." And if I was to talk back to my younger self, exactly what I would say to him as he's singing that song, or as he's writing that song. Well, first I would tell him that, hey, this song is a banger. It's going to do good for you if you write
Mhm.
the song. That's the first thing that I would tell him.
You gotta talk to that insecure side and let them know it's
Yeah,
gonna be all
exactly.
right.
It's
Let
gonna
them
be
know it's
good.
actually gonna be fine.
It is going to be fine. And then also, I would kind of say, I don't know if this feels like narcissistic to say aloud, but I would also say, like, hey, that side of you that is vulnerable and that does feel broken, being able to express that, that's going to be key for you. That's going to be
Mhm.
crucial for
Oh, that's
connecting with other people. So I would, I wouldn't shy away from that in
mm,
any way, shape, or form. Sometimes it can be hard, and I'm not saying you should always just be like crying all the time and like
right,
sad about
right.
life, but like actually like having like strength and finding that, what, like, like, that was some fucked up shit that I went through, but I
Mhm.
got through that. This is what happened. It doesn't make me, less of a person, less of a
That's
man,
right.
whatever it may be. If you can, tap into that, keep on tapping into that, that's going to be key for you. So that's what I would say.
Amazing, dude. Amazing, man. That's amazing. And you know what? You touched on it, right? Because it's about tapping into that, right? And it's not about being less of a man. It's like you said. There's actually so much strength in that, because the truth is, the strong men who cannot tap into it, the reason they don't is because they're actually not strong enough to deal with it.
Right? Yep.
That's why they don't want to express it, because they're actually not strong enough to deal with it. So it's actually the opposite, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, like when when I spoke to Adam, right? I'm bringing it up again. When I spoke to Adam Calhoun, he mentioned that when he has these type of conversations with his buddies about the tour life, or the music life, the creating process, and just being away from family, man, he told me they cry. They break down. Other musicians, some of my favorite, artists, they break down because it's a lot. They're enduring a lot. And what happens is, when you're in the midst of enduring all this change and all this busyness and all this life moving fast, every once in a while you tap into your trauma box, and
Mm-hmm.
then it gets to you. You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
when you're trying to be a creative, personality, sometimes you got to tap into those dark places, and it sucks that we have to do that, but we know that there's other people laying in those dark places and they still haven't reached out for anything or anyone. And when you're able to tap into your dark places and put them on display for everyone to take in, they come out. These people, they come out and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one who feels this way." Like, and
Yeah.
you can literally be single-handedly saving lives just by tapping into those dark places. So being strong enough, being bold enough to be as human as possible is like the best thing you can do, because you're gonna help some people out, man.
I would agree absolutely. Having the strength to be vulnerable and to be human and to put yourself out like that, and and to talk about the times when you did lose, when you were defeated. Everyone
Right,
can take a victory, can take a nice win, but
right.
no one talks about what's it like when things don't work out in your favor. What's it like when when those stories start to happen. So if you can also, write about that and like you said, kind of reach out to someone that maybe still is locked
Yeah,
inside of that trauma box, because that's one thing about trauma too, is that in my experience with it at least, is it can be very isolating, and it kind of brings you back to that place like we talked about, that anxious 13-year-old kid. Like sometimes I'll get triggered, something will happen at a show or whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden I'm back in that mindset again of, okay, I'm a anxious 13-year-old kid having to
wow.
fight dudes that are
Really,
times myself.
really.
Like I'm
Wow,
back in that
that's
mindset, but I have to kind of constantly, like tell myself, like, no, your past scars don't define you anymore. You can still live your life. You know.
amazing, man. That's interesting that you still sometimes, while performing, do you tap into these things while performing, or is it just something that happens like
I
in the
think
creative process?
Yeah, I think sometimes it does happen when I'm performing too, but sometimes I'm also like I'm tapping back into the reason why I wrote that song. And then
Mm,
also sometimes it really just kind of feels like random with the triggers. Like something will just happen outside of my control, or something in my life, and then I'm kind of get like shifted back into that mindset for a little bit. But yeah, I guess just the ups and downs of life, man. Just
yeah,
the
yeah, I hear you.
sure.
I hear you, and I feel like when you spoke about the isolation process, I feel like that is another thing. That's just the thing that we got to be able to, we got to stand strong in it, because every once in a while we're going to be isolated, but it's just not in our natural human DNA. Like, we're not supposed to be isolated. We need to be around other people. If you leave me in this room for 3 days, I'm gonna start losing my mind. If I can't leave this room for 3 days, I'm gonna start going crazy. Why? Because I'm alone. But if I'm in this room with just me and my wife or something, no, we'll entertain each other. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Absolutely.
so what happens when you're, and that's just me being a sane human being in here for 3 days. Now, what happens when you put somebody who's got a lot of trauma, who's been abused, who's gone through the ups and downs of just the dark side, and not only that, doesn't even experience real love? What happens when they're trapped in a room for more than 30 minutes? It can drive someone to the point of no return.
Right? Like our minds can be our own worst enemies sometimes, and I know what that's like. I know what that feeling is like, of your mind kind of turning in on you, and then starts telling you,
Hmm.
you're not good enough. You're not worth it. You should end it. And sometimes I do have those thoughts, and I kind of have to, I'm working on ways like having a community, talking to other people, like what you just mentioned. That's a huge way
Yeah,
of getting
yeah,
outside of your own way. Sometimes it's as simple as just, going outside and taking a walk, getting
yeah.
some vitamin D, making
Right.
sure you're eating right. And that's that's huge.
Yeah, I agree, man, 100%. And yeah, sometimes it is just that. Sometimes it is just like not really planning the day. If you're feeling ruffled a little bit, sometimes or just take a drive to the nearest lake, or just
I love driving. Like I'm
me
I,
too.
I am Ryan Gosling. Sometimes at night I'll just
Right.
in the dark for long hours, blasting my music. Got that cool loner swag going on.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
Love it, man. Love it, man. So a lot of you guys, man, you guys are out here, Skinner Brothers, Ren. A lot of you guys got a big UK presence. You know what I'm saying? Man, and that's cool. That's cool. I have on my channel, like, there's a lot of UK people who follow me. So when I look at my analytics, it shows me that obviously the main the main followers come from the US, but over 30% of the people who follow me are from the UK, you
That's
know.
huge.
So I'd have to credit Ren for most of that, right? Because I started tapping into reactions to his songs, and now, you know, I tapped into the Skinner Brothers as well. But you have like an independent wave about how you're going about things, but also globally. Like I don't want to, like, you know, put you in this box. So you've had the freedom, but at the same time, you know, you understand the hustle side of things, right? So
Yep.
I want to ask, you know, what's one failure or a show that almost broke you or your belief in doing this? Like, looking back,
Yeah.
what lesson did you extract from that still drives you today? So, like, some of us, sometimes we have a moment where we're like, we're questioning things. We're past doubt. We're like thinking, forget about this project. I myself am not made for this, or I am not built for this. You know, was
Mhm.
there ever a moment that might have brought you there, and you felt like a failure in that moment? And if so, like, yeah, what lesson did you get out of that? That still drives you today, because clearly you're still doing your thing. You're on tour. I mean,
Yeah.
you're doing great, man. So
I have those moments actually quite a bit where I start
really,
in things, and I'm even sometimes like I'm like thinking like, man, should I start going on like Indeed.com and start like applying for jobs? Like, what's going
wow,
on? And you know, there's several different things that can contribute to it. I mean, I think that like one thing about like my journeys, I've had, you know, many different kind of iterations of the band, and I've had like people kind of leave and walk away and be like, hey, like, you know, this isn't going to work out, you know, you're wasting your time. And then I'm like, you know, man, no, fuck you, I am going to make this work out. And then I play a show the next day, and maybe it's a bad show, no one comes, and you're playing in this empty room, and then you're thinking to yourself that night, like, I've had moments like that before where I'm like, oh fuck, like, was I wrong? Was, you know, like, were like,
were they right?
will my you know, enemies get the best of me, whether those enemies are physical, literal physical enemies, or the enemies in your head. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had a few experiences like that. Like, I've, you know, definitely like playing several empty shows in a row, or sometimes like,
Right.
you know, songs not doing well, and it kind of, yeah, it triggers that old, you know, insecure part of myself again. But I kind of just like, that's when the true like resiliency kind of gets tested. And that's kind of what, I'm at times I can be a bit of a workaholic, and I can say like, hey, the only thing that I can control is how hard I work. Maybe, you know, maybe I was supposed to go through this failure right now, and play this empty show, or
That's
have
right.
this album not do well, so that I could write the next song that is going to do well, or I
Right.
can play the next show that is going to do good. Like, in a lot of ways, you know, I think being a music artist, especially being an independent music artist, it's like playing a contact sport. Like, it's
Mm.
rough. You don't have, especially when you don't have like managers and record labels and booking agents behind you, and you're doing this all by yourself. So you're making the merch, you're making the relationships, you're making the
Mm.
music, you're making the. It's definitely, it's a hustle. It's a grind. But if it's what your heart truly desires, you know, the world is going to test you for that.
Right.
I think that's part of the game. So, you know, it's just like keeping that faith when things aren't going well.
Loaded, brother. Loaded. Um, that's tough, man. That's tough to listen. That's tough to hear. You know what I'm saying? Because as a person on the outside, um, I kind of just, you know, read a lot about artists and stuff like that, especially if I'm going to be talking to them.
Yeah.
And there's actually a lot. I don't know how much you know, but there's a lot of information on you out there.
Oh man.
It's pretty cool though. It's like, you know, there's Reddit threads, you know, people talking about experiences they experience at your shows or whatever the case
Oh,
may
that's
be.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. So man, I just want to tell you, just based off what you just said, I just want to tell you that you're, whether you have, you know, an empty show here and there, or whether you feel like something's not streaming the way it's supposed to, um, how hard you're gonna work or how hard you've worked is the only real case of judgment. So
Yeah.
if you know you're putting your best foot forward,
Mhm.
and you know you've packed a show out just once before, you could always do it again. You just got to
Right.
stay consistent. Sometimes God humbles you so
Mhm.
that maybe you were going in a direction that was kind of off tailored of what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe you were losing the passion for a bit because you was on such a high that, you know, sometimes we get lost. Sometimes we lose sight. We're human. This is gonna happen every once in a while. And sometimes we need to be humbled, right? To get back to that
Absolutely.
passion, that grit, that hunger, that
Yep.
that unexpected, not knowing what's gonna happen. So when you live in that space, you know you gotta go hard because you don't know what's gonna happen. But when you're on a roll and all the shows are sold out, you already know there's quite a bit of hunger that just goes less of. Like it isn't the same. You know, our drive isn't the same because we're kind of we're kind of privileged. We're like, oh, okay, you know, I've been packing shows out back to back. Like I'm not worried about that. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this and that. I'm thinking about, you know what I mean. So I think even though you've gone through those ups and downs, um, I think I think you're amazing, dude. I think you're amazing, and I think that
Thank you, man.
the
Thank you.
people's response to you is more amazing. That's my favorite thing because on my channel, um, I don't know how much of the channel you've seen, but we don't really focus on reactions themselves.
Mhm.
The focus is the community. The focus is the people in the community. Like I know way too many people in my community personally. I speak to way too many of them on the phone. Like I'm
Yep.
so tapped into my community that it's like it drives me every day. And when I don't, you know, I'll have a week where I'm just like, I barely got any views. I barely posted any videos, but I went live and I was just communicating with the community, and that felt great. You know what I'm saying? That felt
Amazing.
amazing. And their response to me, I don't care if it's just 50 of them, we're like we're huge, you know what I mean? And there's so much authentic love going on that that's all that really matters, dude. So even if you went to a show and there was two people there, man, rock that shit, bro. Like rock
Absolutely.
for those two people, man, rock it for them, dude.
Absolutely, and that's I would agree 100%. You know, that that community and going back to the basics, and really I loved how you kind of talked about that hunger and
Mhm.
that grit, and that's you know, like that's like part of me that I always hope that I still have, that I always have that hunger, that
Continue.
grit,
Yeah.
that way to like, you know, make art. Like the rent was due last week and you don't know how you're gonna do it. So
That's right.
you know, you can that's key. That's important. Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And
Just
thank
keep
you for
doing.
saying that too,
Yeah,
man. I
absolutely.
really appreciate you showing all that love. That's really cool of you, man. Thank you so much.
No,
You're awesome.
absolutely, man. I mean, I have respect for a lot of the independent wave, and I just got here, dude. You know, I just started this last year, so I'm new to the whole social media. I didn't even do social media before this. It's just really just uh I grew. I mean, I credit Ren for most of that, man, because I started reacting to just hip hop that I like, a lot of Eminem, like it's just people I listened to growing up, you know, and then J. Cole's, Kendricks, and stuff like that. When somebody randomly recommended me to you know, react to a Ren song. You know, it was strange for me. You know, it was High Ren. I don't know if you've heard that one before, but yeah,
I have. Yeah, that's an interesting song. That was the first rap
very
that I
interesting.
heard. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
very
very
interesting.
very creative. Yeah.
So it was very creative, and I admired it for sure. But what I realized is people are connecting to this dude on such a level that it's like, man, he's literally keeping people alive.
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of us do it. You know what I'm saying? You may not realize it, even if it's at a smaller scale or whatever the case may be. A lot of us do it. But I just the drive that came behind his fan base, and it's just like, wow, they feel purposeful in this world, literally because of him. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he has to fight through because he knows there's millions of people literally depending on him. That's a
Yep.
lot of pressure, dude. It's a lot of pressure.
Shout out
So
yeah to the Renegade. That's what they call the fan,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
right, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
that's an awesome thing.
They're awesome. I actually
They're
started a
awesome.
series when I started. They were like trying to turn me into a renegade. I'm just like,
Oh.
what? You're trying to turn me into what? I didn't know what it was. And I was like, they was like, yeah, we're gonna turn you into a renegade. Don't worry. And then so I made a series called Making a Renegade, right? And it was about by me going through each song, figuring out if I'm a renegade by the end of the song yet. You know, I think it took me like 3 songs, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm so down with this wave. Like I was just like,
Renegade through and
count me
through.
in.
I'm a renegade. That's awesome.
Yeah, for real, man. I love the community, and I got like my community comes from like I don't know if you're familiar with Tom McDonald.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, he's mega, he's huge, but he's a really humble. He's another guy. He's a lot like Adam. These guys are just humble, down to earth people when you talk to them. You know what I mean? And yeah, I got an interview coming up with him soon as well. But he's a big deal in my space because like a lot of his community in there, a lot of the Renegades are there, a lot of the Eminem stands and the NF fans, and a lot of Skinner Brothers fans are in there too. Man, it's really cool. And when I did the song with Skinner Brothers and yourself, um, a lot of people came out like, "You need to do more love." Now they're recommending me all these songs. I got like a list of 20 songs, dude.
Oh
That
shit.
they're like, "Yo,
Cool.
do it in this order. You got to do it in this order because he's talking
That's
about this. He
dope.
referenced this song, and you got to do it in this." And I'm just like, man, look at that dedication right there. And I love it. I love the fact that my little community consists of all you guys' as fan base. You know what I mean? And
Right?
it's this big wave of just indie people, representing
Yep.
indie creators, and yeah, why not? It's
But
amazing.
that's huge, man. That's amazing. Congratulations. That's dope. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I just want you to know that. I want you to know. I'm pretty sure you do know that, but I want you to know that there's people out here just they're rooting for you, man, and they want to see you go up, man. They want to see you go higher, and they don't want you to settle. They want to see you. They want to see you change your life. You're changing their lives, but at the same time, they want you to be able to change your life. In a positive way.
Thank you for saying that, man. Really appreciate that. I needed to hear that, man. I needed to be reminded of that. And man,
Absolutely.
thank you for saying that, man. That means a lot. That's huge.
Absolutely. No problem, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, yeah, dude. So speaking about vulnerability, you spoke a little about vulnerability in that on that vinyl episode as well. Um, you opened up earlier today with us, and definitely appreciate that, man. I just want you to know that, yeah, I know people. It might sound cliche or whatever, but this is definitely the space to do so. I mean, the comment section is probably going to be filled with people just showing admiration for your vulnerability. So I want to tap into that. You've opened a door to vulnerability already, whether it's on social media or whatever, right? But you also said there's strength in mystery. So
Yep.
with that type of mindset, I guess thinking of your stage persona versus your daily self, how do you decide what to show, when to hold back? Do you ever just purposely keep something private for your art to inhale it later? Maybe that's something like, I'm not ready to put that out, but I'm a save that, and I'm gonna write about that later when I'm strong enough to speak on that on a world stage. Talk to me
Yeah.
about that.
Absolutely, and I think I'm still definitely figuring that out as I go. What I should share, what I should keep secret, and kind of that push and pull. But I would say I usually just honestly I just keep it to my instincts. If I feel like
Mm,
really strong need to speak about a certain topic or to share my feelings that day, I'll share it. Especially if I think it's gonna help in some way. If maybe having weirder thoughts or things of that
right,
nature. There's certain things that maybe I don't want people to know about. Maybe I just keep it quiet and I just
right,
lock it up. Because I think that there's both. There's being vulnerable with your community and your fan base and letting them in is huge. It's crucial.
right,
It makes them feel really close to the artist, the creator, but also keeping that mystery and what not to share too is good too. Sometimes you can overshare, you can say too
yes,
much, and all of a sudden you're saying something that half the people are gonna love and the other half of the people are gonna hate. Like, well, I don't agree with that. That's
yeah.
crazy. So I think for me, I'm sort of like there's definitely like a good number of things
You
that
trust your instincts.
yeah, that I try to keep it to my instincts about what I should share, what I shouldn't. There's been a few times where I say something and I'm like, oh, why did I say that? Like I should probably like do that. But that's part of the journey. That's part of what I'm figuring out for sure.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's not going to be easy to find that balance, and throughout the course of your career. Um, you learn, what I mean? And that's why it's always good to make those mistakes, especially when it comes to saying things that maybe you shouldn't have said. A lot of the times though, I would say, yes, trust your instincts. I'm with that because there's really no wrong way to go about it. But I would say that the people who really rock with you, They're gonna rock with you no matter what. You know what I mean? They're gonna rock with
Yeah,
you.
that's true. That's
I've said things that not everybody, not everybody from my community, not everybody in the black community, they don't love the stuff I say sometimes because
yeah.
I hold myself accountable, and I hold my people to the same degree. And sometimes they don't like that because accountability is not really popular where I come from, and there's a lot of blaming of systems. And I don't mean institutional systems that are supposed to protect you. I mean systems that are supposed to, like, I guess, lift you up temporarily, but people stay stuck to these systems for a long-winded period of time that they shouldn't have. They should have just got up on their feet, accepted the help, and then finally, independent, right? You got to be independent. And people become dependent on systems, and it's like, that's just like, why be dependent on something you don't trust? If you believe this system is oppressing you, why would you want it to help you? That's the last person you should trust. That's the last system you should trust. And you being put through the system at 13 years old, you now know as a grown man that I can only depend on myself and God. I cannot even, well, not to put that on you. I'm not even sure what your beliefs
Yeah.
are, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
But no, but that's how I feel. That's
right.
That's how I feel too. And definitely, like, I am distrusting of corporations and institutions. And I think a lot of, people are. And I think that, it's just like this crazy, like, hang up that some people have. It's like, oh, I don't trust these people. These people this institution is bad, whatever it is, but I'm going to lean on it for help. That doesn't make sense. And then they end up getting burned. And then,
and then being surprised. Why? But why? Why are you surprised? These people don't. If you believe these people are evil, then why are you asking them? It's like asking for the devil for help. Like, I don't understand.
Exactly. It is a lot of the time. Yep.
Yeah. So interesting, just interesting, you know what I mean? But
sure.
To tap more into, I guess, more probably what people want to know, like, your fashion statements and stuff like that, or
hell yeah,
your tattoos, you know what I'm saying? You kind of tatted up, you know what I'm saying? If when you look through your Instagram, it's like you're getting more and more tatted up as you scroll through that. I love it. It's hilarious, man.
Yep.
So also your interest in reptiles has shown up in your past interviews. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I love reptiles. Yeah.
If I'm gonna ask you a weird but funny question, and I feel like it's a somewhat of a loaded question. You know what I'm saying? If your body, let's say your body was a museum itself, of all the moments that shaped you, what 5 tattoos? Maybe 3. You don't have to say 5. Maybe 3. What 3 to 5 tattoos, or just pieces of ink, right? Would you show a visitor, and what story does each one tell about the version of you at that time that you got these ink jobs? So if your body was a museum, there's a visitor, where do you point them to so that they can get the real you? What 3 to 5 tattoos that you would say, this is you? And
these are tattoos that I actually have, or just tattoos I can, like, create? So that
actually have. Okay. That, because what you need to do is, I want you to tell me, what story do they tell, obviously, about the version of you at that time when you got the tattoo?
Yeah. All right, cool. Sure. So I'll do this one right here. It's kind of hard to see, but basically it's a Banksy piece, and it's a tattoo. It's a piece by Banksy, the artist, the graffiti artist. He's one of my favorite artists. And it says, "Keep your coins, I want change." And it's a homeless man holding up that sign. And I've spent.
Wow, that's so deep.
Right? Yeah.
Keep your coins, I want change. Wow.
Yeah. And I think that kind of sums up a lot for me. And one thing for me is, I've spent time on Skid Row before, and I've, like, it's just that kind of about, like, societal change, as opposed to, kind of goes back into what we were actually just, like, talking about it. No, like, keep your coins to yourself. Like, I don't want that. I want, change whether that be change in my life, whether that be change at the world at large, whatever that is. And so that's one thing that I think really kind of represents my philosophy of the world, based off of my experiences with, whether that be being on Skid Row or whatever it may be. So that's one tattoo, I'd say, absolutely. Another tattoo.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah, there's a few, actually. right there. But there's a switchblade with a little like prick of blood at the
Okay.
end of it, and then it says family
Family.
underneath it. First, I'll talk about the switchblade. So the switchblade, there was like a period of my life when I was first kind of coming up, and sometimes when you're coming up from a darker place, people can get really jealous. So
Right.
I was a lot of people in my life were kind of turning on me, were attacking me like on social media and stuff like that. And I kind of got that tattoo, that switchblade with like a little like prick of blood to remind me to keep that edge, to
Mm.
keep that hunger, always be a little bit sharp, don't ever get too comfortable.
Hey,
Yeah,
nice,
like
nice.
yeah, and so that's kind of what that tattoo really represents for me.
What
And
about the family?
the family, well, to me, just like family is really important.
Right.
I definitely like, I think that like my family is who I trust, and my dad has helped me with my music and stuff like that. And
Nice,
even like
nice.
my step grandfather was a drummer as well. And like I actually like I have like a cousin who's special forces, and I would like look up to him a lot when I was growing up. I also have another cousin with like really severe Down syndrome, and I've always felt like really like
Mm,
protective over her and things of that
mm,
nature. And then actually the next tattoo that I want to talk about is it was actually like a portrait that I got of my dad, but he was of like a Scandinavian like warrior, and I got it when he had stage 4 cancer. This to me, I was like, that
mm.
this is him like fighting through the cancer, like kind of getting this
Wow.
like magical power to fight through the cancer. And he survived. He's a cancer survivor, and so it's like that. It's kind of like
Thank you
calling
for
on that,
thank you for putting that out there as soon as
right?
you mentioned stage 4 cancer. Thank you for just letting us know he's a survivor because like
Yeah, yeah. And
it's
so
just
that
yeah,
tattoo, like it's on this arm right here. Let me pull it up. It was
yeah.
14 hours. It like
Wow.
yeah, and
Look at
so
that. That's
yeah,
awesome, dude.
it's dope. But that was one thing that's one tattoo that kind of really just represents like a moment in time for me
Oh
that
yeah.
uh, it was crucial to keeping faith in hard times, and how strong that faith can be. And the last one I'm going to talk about right here is Frankenstein. I love Frankenstein,
Yeah, yeah.
and I love the movie. I love the story, and I think that sometimes I view myself as Frankenstein. I'm stitched together
Mm.
through all these different ways, all these different moments in time, and kind of like brought back to life. But what brought me back to life was music, was sharing my art.
I love it, man. I love it too, man. Yo, a fantastic answer, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Or
Appreciate you freaking, just digging deep. That's
yep.
amazing, man. That's amazing, dude. Love the tattoos, by the way, man. Love the tattoos.
Thanks, man.
Especially the one of
And
your dad, man. That one looks really that got done really well.
yeah, man, that was that artist. His name is Camille Moset. He's a really talented tattoo artist.
Shout out to him, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So yeah, dude. Music. Collab. Are you a big collaborator? First of all, are you big
I'm a
on it?
huge
You're a
collaborator.
huge collaborator. Okay, you love
Yeah,
collaborating. Why
I
is
love.
that?
I think that it happens to me kind of naturally. Like whenever I see like an artist that I really like love what they're doing and I believe what they're doing, I'll reach out to them, kind of like yourself, like
Yeah,
reaching out about your YouTube channel. Like I'm big on showing love to other people, and I also just think that there's so much stuff you can learn from other artists and like
yeah.
stuff like that, and that's dope. That's really great. And so yeah, I'm definitely like I've always been big on collaborating. I love like the whole process of working with a different artist, and especially when it's like an artist that I really respect and really groove with. I learn so much game. I learn so much knowledge about making music, and that's everything.
Nice, man. Nice. That's cool, man. I always wondered, like, if because you have such a unique style. Sometimes uh, unique artists don't always collab often. Maybe because they're worried about not meshing well with another artist or whatever the case may be. But I, I'm one of those guys who say when styles clash, it's like the best thing. It's my favorite thing. You know, I've
Yeah.
never been this deep into listening to music until I started this channel because I mean, music has always been my life. I've toured. I've done things. You know, earlier on. You know, we're talking like 10, maybe 8, 10 years ago. I've
Very
done tours. I've opened up for the Migos and stuff like that. And
damn, congratulations. That's so
yeah,
dope.
you know who Yandel is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I've opened up for him as well. But this is like, and I was going through a patch of like not knowing. I was struggling with my faith at the time, and it was more so like, man, I'm doing music. Not that I was ever really doing raunchy music or anything like that, but it was just like the language I was using, the somewhat of the culture I was representing. I was kind of lost. I was kind of stuck in this under this covenant of thinking I was a victim. So like my music
Mhm.
represented that. And when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, that's actually weakness. Like I'm not a victim.
Mhm.
I'm in so much control of what my next move. I have free will. Um, you know, I'm a follower of Christ. That's my belief. And he saved me, saved us all. And he actually made me feel like I needed to put the pen down. I thought I needed to stop making music and just serve my Lord pretty much and just get back to work and just do things like this and just, serve God, glorify God. And then what happened was Ren, I listened to Ren, his song Troubles. Actually, that song, after reacting to it, made me want to write again. It was the first time I wanted to write in like 7 years. I was like, wow, that song just inspired, and the beat inspired the hell out of me. So I started like not thinking I'm going to record anything. I just started writing, writing to that beat or whatever. And I ended up writing a really dope song or whatever. And then listening to the song, I'm like, man, I wonder if I should record this. So then I recorded it and I was like, all right, but I'm not going to put it out. You know what I'm saying? And then I think I spoke about it on one of my lives and they was like, you should put it out. Let us hear it. So I ended
Yeah.
up playing it on the live. It was just like 40 of us. So I ended up playing it on the live and they loved it. And I was like, wow, maybe I'll just put this out. I put it out and they got a pretty cool response or whatever. And
It's
that
amazing.
started everything. Yeah, that started. Next thing you know, I'm writing a whole album now. And I just wrapped up the album. So it'll be done by next week. But the
You
song that I
got
sent you
that
was one
send
of the songs.
you got to send me the album. I want to hear it.
Yeah, no, it's
Dope.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'm posting it. I'm posting it on Friday. This Friday coming up. I'll have the whole album on YouTube, Spotify, whatever, all that stuff. But yeah, never thought I'd ever do music again, man. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
I I ask you that because sometimes when you make a specific kind of music, when it comes to collaborating and stuff, you kind of stick to your guns sometimes. Some people just their sound is their sound. They don't want to mess your sound with anyone else. And you have a really unique sound, man. You really unique sound. And
Thank you.
so I think it's cool that you and Skinner Brothers collab as much as you do because even though you guys are both unique, even with each other, you're both distinctively different. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, really cool, man. I would love to see more collabs with you guys, in the future.
There's actually a full length EP coming uh,
Nice.
at the end of
Man,
the
y'all are
year.
working.
So yeah, there's
Y'all are working. That's awesome.
a lot more Love Ghost X Skinner Brothers coming in the future. Hell yeah.
Man, you guys got a couple bangers already, man. But yeah, that's awesome, man. Happy to hear that. I'll be all over it when it drops. I'll be
Hell
all
yeah.
over it. You'll probably see it. You probably see a EP reaction to it.
Oh,
And
that's
I
fire. That's
just do
fire.
the whole. Yeah, word up. I'll let you know if you want to pop in the chat, let people say hi to the people and stuff. But
Absolutely would. 100%.
so yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot going on in the U.S. I know sometimes. I mean, you spend a lot of time here, so you're probably aware. But a lot of the people, from Europe or just UK side or whatever, they don't really be knowing what's going on over here. But the world is in a strange place, man. And outside of music, I mean, we had a government shutdown over here, where
Right.
if you're yeah, and I have a government job, you know what I mean, and
Oh shit.
yeah, I didn't get paid for 2 months, so I was going through a lot of like those doubts that you were talking about earlier, like oh man, like what am I? It's either I push, it was like a fight or flight situation. Like
Yep.
the bills are still coming. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got a family. My wife's a stay at home mom, so I got to bring in all the ducats, right? So it's like it puts you in this position like, am I wasting my time here on YouTube? Like because I got this ain't a joke. I got to feed my family. You know what I mean? And then this government shutdown thing happens, and it's like Now the money, now I'm like, now I'm really, because I, I don't really, not that I don't make much off YouTube, but it's not gonna like take care of my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could pay a few bills here and there, but a lot of my money from YouTube comes right back into YouTube. Like I invest it right back into it, in my music, in these computers that I bought. I first started YouTube with just an iPad and my phone, and I would just screen record what I'm watching and record myself there, connect it, bring it into CapCut, and line up my voice with the with the reaction. Like it was a ghetto contraption I had going on. But
Man, that's
now,
inspiring though to hear.
yeah, and
That's
that was just that was July of 2024. So just a year and 4 months ago, that's where I was at with it. And now, like, not to brag, but I got like all these lights in here, I got monitors, expensive computers.
hell
Computer
yeah.
cost me $5,000, you know what I mean? This laptop cost me $3,000, like all this stuff, microphones to set up, just now I have a studio room. Now I have a room dedicated to that. I was doing it just in my bedroom at first, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So anything I've
You
ever
could feel
earned.
proud of that too. That's amazing.
I am proud.
Great thing. Yeah.
More than proud, I'm very just grateful to the community who
Yeah.
continue to support me. Like it's like, and I tell them all the time, like, yo guys, like they hear my hair, every time they hear my chair squeaking, they're like, yo, get a new chair. I'm like, I said, well, let's start a donation pool. Let's see. We'll just start a, you know what I'm saying? We'll start a link. Let's donate towards the chair. By the end of the chat, man, there's like $200 in there. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go buy a new chair.
Hell
Boom.
yeah.
And I go buy a new chair. And now I got a brand new chair. This chair is nice, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any noise. That's my noisy chair back there, but I keep
That's
it
the
back.
noisy chair.
Yeah, that's the noisy chair. Keep it back there for aesthetics.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just it's amazing knowing that, you're putting your heart and soul into something, and it's feeding, you know what I mean? It's feeding something. So with everything going on in the world, what I'm getting to is just the fact that just can't quit, you know what I mean? You can't stop, because if you love something and you truly love to do it and you see that you're affecting other people's lives, this community that we have, I say we because we built it together. It literally it helps people from going off the wall, dude. I see the stories are in my inbox all day. You don't know what this chat does for me. You don't know what your reactions do for me. Like, so when I'm having a really really rough day, I look for your stuff. I get a laugh. I get emotional, and I become I'm thankful, and I'm able to go to sleep. And like stuff like tons of messages like that. I can only imagine what you guys receive, right, on a greater scale. But just me on a small scale, I get thousands of messages like this, right? And I'm just like, wow, people sending me gifts. Look at this, man. People send me gifts all the time, and it's just like they want to show their admiration for what you do. Like this is Tom's fans, right?
Yeah.
So these are all his albums, right?
That's what's up.
They all have signatures on them. This my good friend Nicole. She's a follower of mine. She's also a Hawk fan. That's what Tom's fans are called. And pretty much, she had 2 copies of each, and she sent me the other copy of each album, and they're all signed, dude. Like signature of him, Nova, Adam Calhoun. There's 15 albums here.
That's badass.
Another fan of mine, Brian. He gifted me with these albums. This album. They just send you stuff. And I love it. It's.
I love that. Yeah, getting gifts from fans. That is.
Oh my God! It's like it's community doing their thing. You know what I mean? Doing their thing. So I try to think of ways to like, how do I give back to these people? But
right.
It's just like I just turn it up. You know what I'm saying? I do my reactions with more passion. I have more fun. I'm more of myself. You know what I mean? And yeah, and I let them come up and talk. We'll split the screen. Just how me and you were talking. I bring them on there as well. We talk. We get to introduce ourselves. Everybody takes a turn. And who's next? Who else wants to come up and introduce themselves? It's what we do. It's how we get to know each other for real. We're not just names in the chat that's just scrolling a million miles a minute. You know what I mean? We're people, and we have a face, and we have a story, and yeah, that's just what we do over here.
Hell yeah, absolutely. That community is everything, and sharing that love with people, and like that's just such a blessing. And I have and your channel is awesome, man. You deserve that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
That's an amazing stuff. And yeah, I've had fans give me gifts too that I've just been like so kind, so amazing. Like for instance, when my dog passed away a few months ago, my fan,
sorry to hear that, brother.
A fan painted the most amazing realistic portrait ever of her, and I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah, that would have made me
who
cry.
does this? Like that, it did make me cry. Like,
Yeah.
stuff like that, just getting like just amazing gifts, getting so much love, like that love, that community is such a beautiful thing, and I'm really grateful for it. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
man. It really just it allows you, sometimes you can't dig deep enough yourself to find the motivation to get up and keep going. Sometimes it's them. Sometimes it's a comment. You hit your notification and you get a comment like, man, I love watching you every day. It's just like, man, somebody's waking up every day to watch me. Like, I gotta
That-
keep going. I gotta keep. I gotta keep. I gotta get back to work. You know
I
what I
gotta
mean?
get back on the treadmill.
That's
Gotta
a fact.
get
Yep.
out. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Never quit on yourself. Absolutely.
Absolutely, man.
So,
Absolutely. So I wanted to have that little discussion just based on like how the world affects us, how we can affect the world, and things like that. Because the world's in a strange place in terms of attention spans as well, right?
oh,
Streaming, the singles versus album situation. How should indie artists go about it? What's the most
mhm,
lucrative way to do it? You once said creating a full album was like making a sonic film.
mhm.
In your ideal version of, I guess, that film album, which is cool. I really love that idea. Uh, if you could pick a setting, you know, a color palette, a scent, or even a food to associate with like the full length experience, what would you pick and why? It doesn't have to be all of those. It could just be one of those things. What would you
Yeah. If it
zone
was
in on?
if it was to be a scent, I would say it's the smell before the rain in
Mm,
a crowded city. That's
wow, that's
that,
awesome.
that's what I would want the scent to be. And like the color palette, I would say like black, purple, and navy blue. Kind of keeping that dark vibe going on.
Yeah. You
Uh,
definitely carry that.
Christopher Nolan
Yeah.
vibes. Yeah, and
Cool, man.
I think that like I would say that like for me like the Sonic film that I would create would be this kind of like thriller sort of like kind of mystery suspense, maybe like a little bit
Yeah.
natural, but there would be this kind of like street edge to it at times as well, and it would
Right.
just
That'd be
and
cool.
definitely like an underdog story. I think that's one
Yeah.
that like I always would want to share with my music, and if the music was a movie too, or if the music is a movie, like yeah, it's
Yeah.
a film. Definitely that underdog story is crucial for sure for me.
And you know what I would like to see from artists like yourselves or even myself or even people like, Ren and Skinner Brothers, whoever, right? All the indie guys, Tom, Adam Calhoun, all these guys. I don't know if you ever heard of Trailer Made. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah, Hard Target and those guys, Simple Man. Yeah, those guys are amazing, man. Those are amazing guys. They're also on the tour with Adam Calhoun, so
oh that's
I was able to meet those guys for the first time as well. Just opening up for those guys was amazing. It was just like, man, and they ripped, they tore that show down. And you know what? I went there thinking, you know, I'm gonna have these people kind of quiet because they don't know who I am, where I came from, and you know what I'm saying. But you know what it was? I was just confident. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna lie. Like I went up there and just said, man, I'm gonna make them laugh first. I was talking at first, trying to make them laugh, and they were laughing. It was cool. They was getting warmed up, and then once I started, the song I sent you, the Black Republican song, that video.
yep. Hell yeah, that was
I
an awesome song by the way. Awesome.
appreciate it, man. Yeah, I
Um,
started off with that song, and then it
yeah.
was just like, here it goes.
Here we go. Here
You
we
got
go.
at a southern, predominantly white crowd, and this guy's about to start singing Black Republican. What is this? How is this about to go? And you know what, man? They freaking loved it. When I got off stage, I ended up performing like 4 songs, but when I got off stage, man, I'm
Mhm.
just standing there, not really, what I'm saying, just chilling. My wife's like taking a picture of me, whatever. And then there's like a line of people standing behind me. This is inside the venue, whatever. And she was
Yeah.
like, and then one person comes up to me, was like, "Oh, you mind if I take a picture?" I was like, "Oh, cool, awesome, yeah, I'll take a picture, whatever." Sign a little thing for them, and then the next person comes up to me, and I'm like, "Wait, these people are lined up. It was like 50 of them to take a picture with me."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Dude,
"That
that's
was
what's up.
so amazing." Yo, my wife's just sitting there taking pictures all the
That's
time.
amazing.
But it was awesome, man. I took a bunch of pictures. It was awesome, man. They embraced me. They loved it. You know what I mean? And I really appreciated that. So I always know, like, when I asked you earlier about, entering a new scene, do you choose to adapt, or or are you yourself or whatever? In that moment, I felt it was important, even though I agree with you 100%. In that moment, because I didn't bring these people here and they
Mhm.
don't know me, I'm going to them as me. I felt it was more appropriate for me to just be myself so that they
Mm.
can get to know the real me.
Yeah.
Now, if a fan base grows from that, I will be more adaptive to what what they got going on, just because there's a cross appreciation. But as of right now, they're gonna meet me, and I want them to meet the real me. And I, whether they like it or not, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, Adam, they approved that I can do it, so I'm gonna do what I who I am, right? And that's pretty much what I did, and they loved it, dude. They soaked it up, and it was
Hell
amazing.
yeah.
Midway through the song, they just like, oh no, this dude's rocking. And now that they got their hands, I see all the
Yeah.
phones out. They're all recording me, and they're all sending me the footage. They're like, "What's your Instagram? I want to send you the footage I got." Sending me all the pictures, and I'm just like, "That was cool." So now I got a bunch of pictures from that show that I didn't really have prior to, right? So it's like
Hell yeah.
pretty cool.
Congratulations on that W, man. That's
Yeah,
you deserve that. That's amazing, and that was in Houston, right?
yeah, Houston, yeah.
That's a great moment. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's congratulations. That's
That's
super
like
dope.
that's like that tour and that interview is probably like the highlight of my YouTube career, honestly. But prior to that, it was Tom reaching out to me and showing me love, man. That dude is another. I haven't met him yet, but he's on another level as well. He was like, man, he didn't have to do that. He was commenting on the live. I did a live pretty much to this album.
Mhm.
You should listen to this. I think you would actually appreciate this album. It's called Wild Ones.
Wild ones.
Yeah, so it's an album with him and Nova. Nova is his girl.
Very cool.
I'm not sure if they're married or not, so I'm not gonna say his wife, but that's him and his wifey, right? Um, uh,
Hell yeah.
Dope album. It's one of my favorite albums. Period, dog. Like
Wow.
amazing album. And that album, I did a lot. I did an album live stream to it, right? I reacted to the whole
Yeah.
album. It took me 6 hours to get through that album. So I was live for 6 hours reacting to that album.
Damn.
Lo and behold, Tom and Nova were both laying in bed watching the whole album reaction.
That's
And
so cool.
he hit me up
So
and was
dope.
like, he hit me up on Instagram. He's like, dude, I just want you to know that me and Nova just sat through 6 hours of that live stream and we absolutely loved it, dude. And
Yeah.
he coined me. He's like, yeah, and and I want you to know, man, you're one of my favorite reactors of all time. I was like, one of my favorite artists to listen to and react to feels somewhat of a equal respect for me and what
Yeah.
I do. That's amazing, dude. I was high off that. I'm like, wow, that was awesome. And then I just asked him, can I do an interview? And he was like, yeah. I was like, what? Oh my God. I was like, that's it. That's it. He's dropping albums right now. He's doing a bunch, but it's coming up soon. I'm gonna fly to LA and
Is Tom McDonald based in LA now?
yeah,
Oh,
he's in LA. He's Canadian, but he's been out here for like 10 years. So
damn.
he's or 10 years plus, whatever.
Maybe I'll
But
bump into him somewhere in
yeah,
LA. Yeah.
he's out there.
By the way, I want to put it out there that you're one of my favorite YouTube reaction channels as well.
Appreciate you, man.
So,
Thank you.
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Absolutely appreciate you, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that, man. I'm honored for real.
Of
I
course.
love talking to artists and and them saying things like that because it lets me know that at least I'm doing it. I can always evolve. We could always get better. We could always work on our craft, obviously, but it at least lets you know you're in the right direction. When you
Right?
get a nod from somebody like yourself, what I'm saying? Skinner Brothers too, they hit me up. It's like, yo, love what you're doing. I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. Or Adam Calhoun or Tom, whoever it may be, right? That's all what I'm saying? So what I wanted to do is bring back to that point, right? Of artists. Like sometimes I want to hear, I'm thinking about writing a song like it, but
Mhm.
I would love to hear a song like it where artists make music for the other independent artists who are just grinding. You know what I'm saying? A song for their peer, not for the fans. A song
Yeah.
for their peer. An artist speaking to other artists. Like when Adam said, "Stop and enjoy it," and he mentioned in the interview, sometimes you get right there, right, and then you want to quit, and you almost made it. Some people quit, and all they had to do was push through a little further. But he's seen people almost quit and then break through, and it made it big, right? And some people there's artists out there, right, that need to hear it. And sometimes the
Absolutely.
fans can't give them the correct, because maybe the fans have a bias
Mhm.
motivation to support them, you know what I mean? But when another artist when they're listening to another artist, if I'm a struggling artist, independent, and I don't know where direction my career is going, and I hear another artist who's been where I've been is telling me, don't give up. I've been there, push through. This is the moment this is the moment that makes you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get motivation out of that, and it's gonna help me
Me
to
too.
continue.
Me too. Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
want to hear people make a song like that. You know what I'm saying? I would love to hear you make a song like that. I would love to hear all these guys make a song like
I
that.
like that. I already have an idea. I'm thinking now. I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah,
That's
right. I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good
a
idea.
great idea. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so I do. Well, I have one more question for you, but I do want to end it with something else that I'm trying to rally up all the. I'm on a mission right now, dude. I'm on a mission to rally up all independent artists who are just doing their thing online, right? And I want to bring us together because there's something happening behind the scenes. I don't know if you know what's happening, but there's something happening behind the scenes where major labels like UMG and stuff like that, they are they are in a mission to own all the distributing that includes independent people. So even if you're an independent
Yeah.
artist, you know, through DistroKid or whatever case may be, they want to own the distribution. So they're gonna control the music.
Literally everything. Yeah.
Everything. They want to control
Yeah.
everything, major and indie, right? And they're doing it to reactors right now. They're blocking all of our stuff. They're getting our videos either deleted or whatever the case may be. We can't even monetize things anymore. So it's like they're
Mm,
coming for us, and we're trying to make a living out of this, right?
yeah.
And so what I want to do is bring attention to it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
100%.
So, and I'm bringing it up to every indie guy that I interview because it's my at this point it's become my mission, and it's like the most important thing to me right now. And what I want to do is eventually I want to I'm going to rent out a venue. I'm going to do this on my own buck. You know, I'm gonna take a loan out for it. I'm going to do it on my own, and I just want to invite people to come and put together a show. So what I want to do is this, right? I want to rent out a venue, like a venue that you would see like a TED Talk in, like a real exclusive,
Yeah.
nice, dope venue, right? You know, holds like, you know, 500 people plus, you know what I'm saying? Something like that, right? Have a panel of like five, you know, reactors on one side and five, you know, I'm just making up a number, and five indie artists out there doing it big, right?
That sounds like
And
a dope ass event, by the way. Yeah.
listen, the event will just the event will just revolve around bringing attention to what's happening. But not only that, forget about them. It's really about creating a thing where we can create a path where it's direct consumer, you know, from artist to consumer, like skipping the middleman, you know,
Yeah.
creating maybe a website for where everybody can put their collect their stream of income or whatever, right? Where when you purchase something from, you know, Love Ghost, it goes directly to him,
That would
no
be
middleman.
huge.
You know
That
what I
would
mean?
be huge.
And it's something we can build because if we all get together, we take all of our influence, you know. And I don't want to be one of the reactors on the panel. I would just be asking the questions. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like hosting it, but I would want like the really big wig reactors on there. You know, the Knox Hill, Stevie Knight, Flawzilla. I don't know if you're familiar with these guys, but
Hell yeah.
these guys are huge in the space. Crypt, you know what I'm saying? Black Pegasus, Anthony Ray. These guys are they run they are the reactor world, right? And we like
Yeah.
fall under it, and we're learning from them and stuff like that. And then you got big guys like, you know, Adam Calhoun, Tom McDonald, you know, Trailer Made, these guys as well. And you know, Ren, you know what I'm saying? I know Ren's in the
Yep.
UK, but even pulling him up on a projector in a bat, you know what I'm saying? He could tap
Right.
in, you know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
maybe have him send a video and on what we're talking about, any of that, right? And really just have like an hour long, just answering questions, talking about the struggle and talking about what we can do and just bringing all these ideas together and then ending it with a show. Like each of those indie artists perform a song or two and it's a show. And then we have independent artists coming up and open up for them, like you guys and the Skinner Brothers and whoever else is on the independent grind can like open up for those bigger indie art. You know what I mean? And it's a
I love
whole
the sound.
big.
I mean, that would be an amazing event.
And you know what? I think it's
I want to
possible.
help you set that up. I want to help you set that up.
I want help.
Yeah.
You know,
I love the sound of that. I love the mission of that. I love that. Also bringing the attention to, you know, the different, you know, ways that the music industry runs and
right.
when the major labels, yeah, do hurt reactors and indie artists. And, you know, it's kind of like if you're not in their little club, then you're outside of that club.
Yep.
And they try to make your life as difficult as possible. And
They're doing it.
And and if we, you know, have that community to fight back and we call them out on it, that's what they fear.
And you know what? Calling them out on it is one thing, But you know what's really the mission? The mission is to it ain't just about calling them out. Yeah, we're gonna call them out and stuff like that. But really, it's just about bringing the community together. It's about us just and reactors don't, not that we don't get much out of it, but I would get a lot of fulfillment out of it just to see that happen. That's one thing, right? But also, if there's something we can come up with, if there's a mechanism to do this, if they're cutting out their indie dependent distributing deal, then we don't have to deal with them when we're reacting to it. Now YouTube can't do anything about it because YouTube is not standing up for us. They're letting these guys dog walk us. And I'll tell you why. It's because there's a guy who's managing YouTube right now. His name is Leo Cohen, and he's a music producer, ex label owner, from the Def Jam days in the 90s, Run DMC, all that. Like, he comes from that world, Rick Rubens and all that. And he, Rockefeller, like all this stuff, right? And
Yeah.
he's now running YouTube. So it makes sense that all of a sudden now we're struggling with getting approvals on these music clicks. So I just feel like if
Well, yeah, because like all these different corporations, they're all in bed with each other now. Or that's what they're trying to make it be. So, YouTube,
right,
major companies, Spotify,
whoever's paying,
BlackRock, you name it.
Yeah, exactly.
The game goes deep. The world is a crazy place.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And I just feel like we're stronger in numbers, obviously, but all the indie guys, I don't know if they have issues with each other, but it's like I asked a few of them, I was like, hey, would you be willing to do this and step forward? And they all said yes. So, I'm trying to bring more, what I'm saying? I would love for you to be there. I would love for the Skinner brothers to be there. I know it's a trip for the UK guys, obviously, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just, maybe pulling them up on
us fellow Americans.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that would be cool, man. I think that would be cool. But yeah, that's my plan. We're gonna see a lot of people. A couple of reactors already told me like, I'm shooting for the stars. That's not gonna happen. And I'm just like, hey, man, I will literally do this without you, man. I will literally get this venue. I would literally ask these indie artists, and you know what? And because the fans will show up. They're gonna show up for all these independent artists, right? So tickets could be. The fans pay $150, $170 a ticket for these guys. I've been to the shows, and that's how much they're paying. So I know they would pay, $100, $150 for the ticket to get there, right? They're gonna get a meet and greet. They can the independent artists, whatever comes through the door, I'm literally gonna pay for my venue, and whatever is left, break. Each artist can get. If I have 5 big indie artists, they can all make like $5,000 that night each, right? I did the math, you know what I mean? They can make $5,000 each. They can sell merch and make more, right? They can do meet and greets, and it's really like a thing for the people, and it's for us. It's for the creators, the reactors, and the fans. It's like our own ecosystem that we can do, and we can do this often. We can control this. We can really control this, and yeah, that's what I plan on like trying to make happen or whatever. And I think it's possible. I think it's possible. It just depends on us coming together, man.
And we will. We will. It's going to be a great event, man.
Yeah. I'm already talking to people who want to, endorse and getting sponsors and stuff like that. So that can help pay for things, help pay artists. Because if these indie artists are going to be there, like they got to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Because they got a hotel, they got a flight, and I want to make sure all that's covered, and they can make a few grand for the night, and really doing it for the people though. But at the same time, yes, you deserve to get paid because you guys are the ones who's driving the people there. So, and it would be great just to have that conversation and then have a show, have a meet and greet. And who knows, man, after people can go hang out, do whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's awesome. Like being in touch with the people.
That would be powerful stuff.
And then I want to do like a tour, like doing that every,
right?
Do it in Dallas and then do it in Florida and then go on tour with it around the country.
And then do it in
LA.
Do it in Las Vegas, and that would be huge. That'd be crazy.
Yes. That'd be crazy. Just making noise, renting out these venues, and just, you know what I'm saying? I would, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And Ren, the funny thing is, Ren posted something recently on his YouTube stating that he's thinking of ideas as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, I hope we can connect. I've never spoken to him before, but I know he's a big supporter of the reactor community, and he's trying to concoct something right now. And I hope that his ideas can I hope we can somehow connect. You know what I mean?
100%,
But it's
100%.
not two movements is better than one. Like even that could still be a thing. Just support
Right?
each
We could
other's
be we could
movements.
be doing our thing in the U.S. and he's doing it
Mhm.
in the UK, and then like
Yes.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I want to leave you with this last thing, brother. Because we both, speaking on the indie move, because we come from like this indie musician world, right?
Hmm.
And I'm doing this series, for artists who represent what I believe in,
Yeah.
ultimately, right? So, what's one piece of advice, like we spoke about earlier, right, that you wish someone had given you?
Mm,
Say, let's say when you had, 1,000 followers,
yeah.
that now you'd share with someone sitting on 100 followers right now, right? What's the
Yeah.
one piece? Like, what's that piece of advice you would give that person, right? And also, what's the one piece you refuse to ever say because it's misleading?
Mm, it's a very good question. I mean, I would say for me, it's kind of like the way that I've always run things, the way that I've done things is I would say the community is key. Every person that's showing you love, respond to all of it. Whether that means responding to every single comment on Instagram,
Right.
on TikTok, on YouTube, is building that community. The likes and the views are cool, but they come and they go. The community is what stays. The people
Right.
that actually really champion you. It's kind of like on Spotify, for instance, like we have you have the monthly listeners, and then you have the followers. Like the followers are the actual fans that are, interested in, okay, what's the next song going to be?
Right.
The
I
listeners,
need to be notified. Yeah.
exactly. The monthly listeners are just, people that find the song on a playlist and maybe don't ever care to listen again. And so I would say definitely like building that community is key, and also that consistency to keep on writing music, keep on releasing music. Like I would, if someone has 100 followers, I would tell them kind of like, I had a mentor tell me something kind of similar when I was around that stage. It's that, hey, a lot of people want to do this. A lot of people are really good at doing this. How are you gonna stand out? Well, there's one factor that you can control, and that's your consistency. And that's your hard work. So if you're putting in the work every single night, you're writing new music, you're releasing new music, new visuals whenever you can. And if you don't have a budget, grab that iPhone, make some TikToks,
Hmm.
make some Instagram reels, do what you can. Like the beauty of the internet now is that it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier about Mr. Cohen and YouTube and
Yeah.
the major record labels. Is yes, those gateholders are still there, but no one is stopping you now from putting out music yourself,
Right.
independent of that, and keep on going forward. So I'd say keeping that consistency and paying attention to your community and fostering that community. And sometimes I'll
Yes.
even like I'll go back and I'll try to find people that were commenting on videos and posts from 2 years ago, and I'll check in with them. Like I'm constantly doing that with my fan base. I'm asking them like, hey,
Same, brother.
exactly.
Same.
Like
Awesome. I
how
love to hear that.
how how are you doing? Like are you good? Are you safe? What's going on in your life? Stuff like that. So that's two things that I would definitely say are crucial about independent artists that are starting out. And then something that I would say is misleading is kind of thinking that the only way to do it or to be successful in music is to take a traditional path. Is, oh well, don't worry, I'll just kind of like go to the right parties, and I'll eventually I'm gonna meet like this manager that has an in with Warner Brother Records, and I'm gonna be able to like put on like that. I think that like that's misleading. That's a dangerous mindset to think that like, okay, if I just like take a step back and I can be a receiver and I can kind of wait and I can kind of just like um, you know, maneuver my way in some way through the back door. I think that's very misleading. I think that doesn't really happen to indie people like that are grinding it out. So it's kind of just like making sure that you're staying on your A game. You're not quitting on yourself when things get hard, and
There
you're
you
and
go.
you're fostering that community.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome, brother. Perfectly said, man. Perfectly said, man. First of all, man, I just want to say, man, I really admire. Yes, I admire the music. I respect the art form, and I respect everything that you put out there. I respect the vulnerability. More so, I wanted to have this interview I really appreciate you reaching out to me, man. I
Yeah,
thought that was awesome that you just to show love, and in return, I just wanted to get to know you a little better. And um, what happens is you don't really grow a true admiration for someone unless you like, I guess, have a conversation with them. There's a lot you can learn within an hour. You know what I mean? I mean, we've been talking for about an hour and a half, and yeah, I feel like I know you. I feel like I can tell the next person about you now. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
You know
And
what I mean? And I
I
think that's
thank you so much for giving me the platform to speak and to connect like this. This is huge, man. You're a really cool guy, man. So
appreciate you,
thank
man.
you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. I just want to let you know, man. I admire the music, but I really respect the mindset, man. You got a good mindset, and I feel like your mindset is just like, yeah. There's no way you can't succeed, dude. There's no way. But
Thank you.
but like you said, if the only thing that can stop you is quitting or just not being consistent, because
Yeah.
that is in your control. So you keep doing that, you'll be just fine, dude. You'll be just fine.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate you
And I
so
don't mean fine like the song you made.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean
Thank
like
you, man. I respect you too, and I really appreciate you, and I respect everything that you do, man. You're an awesome guy. Hell yeah.
appreciate it, man. Well, listen, this wraps up. This isn't an interview. This is just a conversation. Love Ghost. I look forward to the next project. You say you got something coming up with Skinner Brothers, right?
Yes, sir.
What's
Absolutely.
that? What's that EP called? Is there anything
To
you can tell
be
us about it?
to be determined.
To be determined.
That's there's no official name yet,
Oh,
so
okay, okay.
just
I
keep
thought
on.
I thought that was the name.
It's kind of an interesting name.
It is.
Maybe it's an idea. Maybe it's an idea. I'll talk to
You heard it here first.
you. Exactly.
Appreciate you pulling up, man. You have a good one, brother.
Have a good one. Thank you so much for having me on.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Yeah, I'll edit it out and the stream that way.
Ooh.
But yo, dog, appreciate you, man. That was an amazing interview, man.
That was
Honestly.
an amazing interview, man. I really the questions
Man, I love your
were
answers,
awesome, man. I loved it, man. Thank you so much for the opportunity for this interview. This is a great interview, man. Like people are gonna really I think learn more about both of us. It's
Yeah.
super cool. It's super great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I think it's interesting that we have a very similar strategy on how we determine success.
Yeah.
I think it comes from investing yourself into the community. Actually, right now, what I'm about to do, and I'm actually running behind, but there's no way I was going to rush that interview. But I have a live stream that I'm about to do, and it's called Faces to Names, and is what I was explaining earlier, where I bring people up in the chat, just like how we're doing right now. Typically, the chat is open right here, and I give them the link that I sent you. They take the link, and then I bring them on stage here, and I ask them questions, and they tell me about themselves, their story. A lot of them are dealing with Lyme disease, leukemia, MS. Like they're dealing with all these type of things, and they're able to come here and they have a platform to really speak and be heard, be seen, and then there's more chances than not there's going to be someone in the chat who's also going through the same thing. So people find comfort in that, and it's amazing. So that's what I got going on right after this. If you want to pop in for a second, say hi to the people, let them know that we just wrapped up an interview. That'd be amazing. If you can't, don't even worry about it. But
I would
yeah,
love to pop in. Definitely.
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah. So let me get to that, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for giving me your time, dog. I know you're a busy man. You got a lot going on, man. Good luck with everything. Are you home? Did you land? Or
I am
all
back
right, so
landed. So
yeah, that's right, man. You deserve the rest. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
You
you.
work that hard, you deserve the rest. You know what I'm saying? We got to take care of our bodies, we got to take care of our minds, and we got to stay clear. We can't, our vision cannot be blurry and our minds cannot be fuzzy. We got to stay the course. And but you got to rest because you got to do your body right. It's your temple. You got to treat it right.
100%, bro.
It's your machine.
Thank you so much, man. And I'm gonna hop in that live stream in a little bit.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Peace.
Peace.
Welcome back to Goat Worthy Reactions, man. Today we're going to be doing another episode of This Isn't an Interview. This is episode 2 of this series. I got a special guest, man. I think y'all going to love it. Check us out. see. Welcome back to another episode of This Isn't an Interview. And today's guest, man, is a special one. Listen, I've reacted to some of their music, a couple collabs with the Skinner Brothers, and now we're here, man. Reached out to me on Instagram, showed me a lot of love, and I just invited him on the show. He's an indie artist. He's doing his thing. He's grinding, and I think he's one of the, perfect people I could have on the show to have this discussion. So let's get right into it.